Wayne County, Utah sits about 200 miles south of Salt Lake City in some of the most breathtaking country in America. Red Rock canyons, wide open skies. It's a beautiful and peaceful place, for the most part. But on the afternoon of March 4th, 2026, that sanctuary was shattered, and when it was all said and done, 3 innocent lives would be taken. It all began in Lehman, Utah, population 289. A 22-year-old man from Blakesburg, Iowa, named Ivan Miller had been drifting through the area for days, ever since he crashed his truck into an elk on a nearby road. Stranded and broke, he sold his wrecked vehicle to a tow truck company and then checked into a local motel. But his money was running out, and that's when he allegedly decided he needed to get back to Iowa by any means necessary.
No, his car's totaled, but he told us that he was going to get a ride and go back with his brother to work, and then he was going to try and come this weekend and pick up his stuff.
On the night of March 3rd, Miller crept into the shed behind the home of 86-year-old Margaret Oldroyd and slept there. The next morning, he watched and waited until she drove away, and then he broke into her house. And when Margaret came home later and settled in to watch a little television, Miller emerged from behind a door and shot her in the back of the head. He never even saw it coming. He then dragged her body down to the cellar beneath the shed to hide it, and then stole her Buick Regal and drove off. Now, he could have driven back to Iowa if he wanted to at that point. However, there was one issue. According to Miller, he didn't like the car. And so, he drove to the Coxcomb Trailhead just off State Route 12 near Torrey. And that's where 65-year-old Linda Dewey and her 34-year-old niece, Natalie Graves, were out hiking together. It was one of their favorite places on earth, according to their family. They were bonding, just 2 women enjoying the outdoors on a quiet March afternoon. According to the indictment, Miller approached them and opened fire. He shot the younger woman first, then fired twice at the older one. When he realized she was still moving, he pulled out a knife and then stabbed her multiple times. He then dragged both bodies off the trail, stole the women's white Subaru Outback, took their credit cards, and drove off, heading home. That evening, when Linda and Natalie didn't come home, their husbands drove out to that trailhead to look for them. They found them and the grisly scene. They also found that abandoned Buick nearby. Investigators came in and quickly traced that registration straight to Margaret's home in Lehman, where they found her body hidden in the cellar. Now law enforcement had a full picture of what went down and a stolen Subaru that was on the run. And what followed was a brilliant multi-state manhunt. A license plate reader spotted the Subaru in Bicknell, Utah. And then one of the victim's husbands used a phone app to track the location of his wife's key fob, which Miller still had, of course. And at 9 p.m., it pinged in Farmington, New Mexico, about 300 miles away. Flock safety cameras across the region, which are always watching all of us and always connected to one another, began to light up. Colorado law enforcement zeroed in, and officers spotted Miller at a gas station in a red jacket. He bolted on foot, but was captured shortly after without incident. On him, a handgun and a large knife.
As far as it's a very tragic situation, we don't believe he's targeted these for any specific reason other than just for convenience.
When investigators sat down with Ivan Miller, he didn't hide much. He confessed to all 3 killings and told them it needed to be done, but that he didn't like doing it. Miller is now charged with 3 counts of first-degree aggravated murder, and prosecutors are already weighing whether to seek the death penalty.